Hello, everyone. Welcome on Facebook Live, Spreaker.com, Kebole, Soundcloud.com, Kebole. Follow me on Twitter at Kebole, and like and subscribe to the YouTube as well, Kevin Olenick, and etc., etc., etc. You may have heard of this story. This was made some pretty big news last weekend, or at the end of last week. This week, Toronto police were investigating an attack on an 11-year-old girl whose hijab was repeatedly cut on her way to school. Of course, heightening pressure on Canadian governments to take further action on attack on Muslims. And it got national attention as there was 2 attempts apparently within 10 minutes. They cut the girl's, according to the story, cut the girl's hijab using scissors while she was walking to school with her brother on Friday. This got national and even international attention. Got a press conference from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Toronto Mayor John Tory, Ontario Premier Kathleen Wynne, expressing a profound disappointment. There was a lot of people very angry and upset on social media. People felt really upset for this young girl. It was a girl and her mom, and there was a press conference, and it sounded like it was a pretty heartbreaking tale that emotionally impacted a lot of people. It turns out this morning it was revealed that this story was not true. Police did release, Toronto did release a short statement saying that after a detailed investigation, that they determined that the events did not happen. Now, while many are relieved that this didn't happen, it appears some are asking for some consequences. As a matter of fact, there is a petition to charge, and I'm using a quote from the website that is involved, the Rebel, not shocking, anyway, the lying mother with public mischief. Now, I'm not saying what happened here was right, and I don't know why this was done. The girl involved in here is 11. Do you remember what happened when you were 11? Do you remember some of the trouble that you got in? Maybe you didn't do this, but you might have done something that you're not proud of, and we were 11, and she is 11. But before we go pass out the pitchforks and demand consequences and we demand justice be done here, I'd like to remind you of a few things. According to Statistics Canada, hate crimes against Muslims increased 253% over 4 years. Here are some examples. Noor Fidel was 18. She dealt with a profanity-laced tirade the last December that saw I repeat to you, just one person in a glutton of people in a SkyTrain stand up to this guy. He was reportedly saying that he was going to kill all Muslims. He was going to do this. One person stood up. Or that incident a couple years ago in Abbotsford where a man lashed out on a parking lot attendant over a parking spot and used a bunch of profanity names and laced tirade there. Or how about a woman by the name of Annika Vassell? She was 24. She heard a ton of racist comments from a lady when she was asked, "Are you born in Vancouver?" And after she responded yes, the response was, "How can you be that black?" Or even another SkyTrain incident when a lady told an elderly couple to go back to the Philippines because they were talking too loudly. Or is it back even in Edmonton where Jesse Lipscomb was trying to film something and saw a racist tirade and had a personal racist attack. And of course, not just last week, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, he's called Nazis good people, and then last week asked why we allow people in from, quote, shithole countries. So while this specific incident may not have happened, it doesn't mean that there are not incidents that don't happen. Incidents that we know of, that are recorded, that we were able to see, and incidents we actually don't get to see. And it doesn't mean that we don't have a problem here. And it doesn't mean that we don't have a racism issue here in Canada. Let's not ignore that. And let's not let people ignore the issue. Day by day, privately, publicly, there are people facing these issues day by day. And there are still people privately, publicly, that still talk in these racist tones. This incident may not happen, but that doesn't mean that it's not. We still have a problem. So I don't think we should let this story and what happened here distract from the fact that we still have a problem. That's all I have to say about that. We'll read some comments here before we go. Yeah, and of course, by the way, I'm not saying that she should be charged. I'm not advocating for anything like that. She's 11. What happened when you were 11? Do you remember what happened when you were 11? It was years for me, but yeah, I don't know why it happened. We don't know. I don't even want to speculate. Let the police do their investigation. But the point is probably a bunch of, we all responded the way that we did because we are seeing this for far too much. We even see this even on Twitter and on Facebook, on social media. The way that we talk to one another is not good. So I don't, this doesn't absolve anything. There's still some problems here, and Muslims are still dealing with a ton of hate and judgment and prejudice. So that is what I wanted to talk about. So comment on that, what you are thinking of that. Feel free to comment. Some things that are coming up I do want to mention before I shut this down for today or close this off. We'll be scheduled to interview a couple people for sure. I'm working on some other things. Scheduled to interview Jesse Lipscomb. You may know the name. He is behind the show, or the event in Edmonton called Make It Awkward. We're going to hear from him. We're also going to hear from Daniel Paradis, who is a Metro columnist who had some concerns. They're not going to be on the same time, but I'm going to do separate interviews, podcasts with them. So we're going to hear from that. And I'm working on some other stuff too that I can't yet say that I pinned it down yet. So keep following me, KVOLE. I post these videos on my public personal page. Add me as a friend if you want to get part of the conversation about some of the other stuff. Spreaker.com, KVOLE. Follow on that. Soundcloud.com, KVOLE. YouTube.com, Kevin Olenick. And you can become a Patreon as well, KEVOLE as well. Meanwhile, I hope that you are having a very nice day and that you're being kind to each other. And you have a great day. Bye for now.